Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 9 at Belmont at the Big A on Saturday. It's the Grade 3 Jockey Club Derby Invitational. We're going to take a look at this field of 3-year-old turf horses getting set to go a demanding mile and 3/8. And Mike, does he have another good one? It seems that Appleby and Godolphin every week send out a monster. Measured time is 3 for 3. He's going to get a true class test stepping up into a stakes race for the first time. But he looked great last time.
He's looked really good in all 3 of his starts so far. I guess we'll find out a lot more about him in this race. There, they are moving him up in class and shipping him over here to face what I think is actually a pretty good field in this Jockey Club Derby Invitational. So far, though, this horse, nice combination over there anyway. Tactical speed and big finishes.
And that tactical speed would work well for him here as we throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Of course, we've seen European shippers in the past sometimes miss the break a little bit and put themselves behind the 8 ball. This is a race where I'm not sure there are really true speeds. Lost Ark is stretching out in distance. Webslinger is far from a blazer. Mondego has shown speed in the past, Mike, but I'm really not sure that's what the connections really want from him. I think Fearless Soldier, the 4's on ascend.
I can see Fearless Soldier making the lead. He would be if it told, I don't really know how it's going to play out, Dan. If it told me that I had to just pick one horse who was going to be on the front, I would probably guess Fearless Soldier. I wonder what one of those other Pletcher horses does in here. Lost Ark, I guess, could go forward. So we'll see if he goes with speed. I thought Classic Catch, first time turf, that horse could show speed in here.
Let's talk a little bit about measured time. This is the Godolphin homebred son of Frankel. He's 3 for 3 in his career. Do you kind of think it was a little bit of a red flag that they debuted this horse on the synth, but he won those races very easily? And last time in his turf debut, they stretched him out to 1.25 miles. You mentioned the tactical speed. Once he was produced at about the 5/16, it was a pretty dazzling stretch run.
Yeah, he won that race pretty much for fun there, Dan. It looked like a slow-paced race. The best part of it was the final 1/4 mile where this horse put over 5 lengths on that field, and he did it going uphill with no real problem. I mean, it was a pretty good performance, I thought. He's looked really good all 3 starts so far. Again, this is the test. It's probably a tougher field than the one that he just beat. But listen, he's supposed to be a good horse. He's a Frankel. He's a half-brother to Rebel's Romance. If you don't know who that is, go to race 4 and pull his PPs. That's a really good horse. I mean, this horse looks like the goods.
Faraday, the number 2, returned off a lengthy layoff for Chad Brown as a gelding, and he's gutted out 2 victories. Now he'll get a class test. Here's his most recent race. First level allowance horses at Kentucky Downs, several older horses in this field. Faraday was able to make a run into the long stretch. He gets the lead, and he keeps on going. I like the way this horse stays.
I do too. He's bred to be a stayer. I mean, that's his pedigree for both sides, is for distance, and he's been good over a distance of ground in his last 2 starts. Now, this race, I thought he ran really well in here. He got a good trip. He made a nice run through the stretch. He's just going to hold off Hilliard, who's an older horse coming up the inside. That concerns me a little bit. It looks like if that was a different horse, this horse might have gotten beat last time. Hilliard wouldn't pass a parked car, and he wouldn't pass this horse either. But I still think this horse is good, and there's upside here.
The 3 Webslinger has been very, very honest all year long, winning the American Turf, winning the Audubon. Belmont Derby was a solid performance. Another solid performance in the Saratoga Derby. Last time out, where Webslinger makes a run to command at the 3/16 pole, and he just can't put away Program Trading, who's a pretty good horse in his own right, when it counts. Thoughts on this horse going this distance?
It's the one little concern that I have about him. I'm not sure that he's better going longer, but that being said, Dan, his last 2 races, they're good performances. I didn't particularly care for the trip that he got 2 back going the 1.25 miles at Belmont. He still ran well that day. I guess you could argue he should have won last time, but man, he was outside the entire way. He made a big run into the stretch to get to the lead, and then he just got out finished by a good horse. I don't know. This horse is good. In some ways, he could be the horse to beat, but I'm a little bit worried about the distance.
Fearless Soldier up in class for Todd Pletcher off of a pace-setting victory at Kentucky Downs. Again, first level allowance. There were some older horses in this race. He's just cruising into the stretch under Jose Ortiz in here, and he just goes about to win as much the best. So he's going to be stepping up in class, Mike, but this colt has a nice combination of speed and stamina, and maybe he's just coming into his own at the right time.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this horse. I really liked his first 2 turf starts. He was inexplicably bad at Saratoga, Dan. I don't know how he ran that poorly. that day, but he bounced back in a big way in that race that we just watched. This horse is pretty good.
Data Man, the number 5, pulled off a little bit of an upset two-back. That was the Bald Eagle Derby at Laurel. Looks like he got a pretty good trip that day in order to win. They ran him in the Virginia Derby last time out. He was held up, but the pace was there for him, and he came with the run, and he was just a little bit even. I wonder if he's a notch below some of the top contenders in this race.
That could be the real issue for him in this race. That it feels like this is a pretty good field for this kind of a race. And so far, this horse, his form is fine. It feels like he is getting better. I think he's got to improve again. He's in very tough here.
If the 6 Classic Catch can transfer his dirt form to turf, he's going to be very, very tough. Here at a 100 Beyer speed figure in an off-turf race last time out, second level allowance at Saratoga. Surface, distance, hike and class all work against him, but you're going to get a sharp horse at a price.
He's an okay horse, to be sure. I'm certainly good on dirt. His calling card on the main track, Dan, is that he stays. The distance is no issue for this horse. There's not a ton of turf pedigree here. That bothers me. Pletcher did want to run him on turf last time. It didn't happen, and he ran a fast race. They'll get their chance now.
Anglophile, the number 7, probably was best 2 starts back. In that little preview for the Dueling Grounds Derby at Ellis Park, he was bounced around, turning into the stretch, had to split horses, and then ended up getting beat a neck by the odds-on favorite. He was able to get the trip last time out in the Dueling Grounds Derby at Kentucky Downs. I guess he was owed one. This time the rail's going to open up. He saves all the ground, and he shoots on through.
Yeah, it does usually seem like, not that I spend tons of time, wasted my time watching races at Kentucky Downs, Dan, but it does seem like more often than not, the inside is pretty good there. And this horse does come up the inside to get the job done. He's another one. He's getting better every time Brian Lynch sends him out there. This is the toughest race he's been in so far.
Maybe Lost Ark stretching out in distance, adding blinkers will show some speed for Todd Pletcher. He was a pretty good 2-year-old. They're trying to maybe reinvent him as a longer distance turf horse. He ran third against some good middle distance 3-year-olds last time out. This is the Saranac, his turf debut. It was kind of a one-paced performance for him finishing third, but I guess it was good enough that Todd thinks maybe he'll stay a trip.
Yeah, maybe the distance is what they're looking for with this horse. I don't know, man. They switched over here just to try something different. I personally didn't think he ran particularly well. Didn't make me want to bet him back against this field.
Mondigo completes this field. He was a pace-setting third at a big price in the Belmont Derby, and they decided to take a hold of him in the Saratoga Derby. That was a race we saw where Program Trading went to the lead. Webb Slanger was able to make the move on the outside. And I wonder if Mondigo just didn't like being restrained. Last time out in the Virginia Derby, he was close to the pace, and that pace was solid before flattening out. He might get a better setup in here. I wouldn't completely discount him at a decent price.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I can't say that I love him in here, but I've been a little bit of a fan of his. He's run some really good races. I don't love the last 2, Dan. It was yielding turf 2 starts back. Maybe that's a big excuse for him, but it kind of feels like there's rain in the forecast again, so maybe he won't get firm ground. I don't know. At a big price, I could throw him in, but I don't love him.
Top pick time for the Jockey Club Derby, and it's just been folly to go against Appleby and Godolphin, and Measured Time is going to get a class test, and it'll be interesting to see how he deals with the ship, how he deals with the stronger horses, how he deals with the pace scenario and the tighter turns. He just looked so good last time out. I got to take him.
I'm going to take him too. He's looked really good to me as well. I think he's going to be pretty tough in this race. And I just like his running style so far, Dan. Maybe it'll be different stateside, but the way that he handled himself over there, he looks like a real professional with a really good finish. I'm taking him, maybe try to get Fearless Soldier in there somewhere at a price.
Yeah, maybe he could show a little bit of speed and take this field a long way. Certainly looks like a horse on the improve. 1342 for Mike, 1739 for me. Jockey Club Derby Invitational. Huge afternoon of racing Saturday. Belmont at the Big A. Good luck.